thick at the outer edge and thin at the inner edge. The two ends of each meniscus are attached to the interarticular area of the tibia, the medial ones far apart, the lateral ones close together. In addition, each meniscus is attached all the way around its edge, both above and below, to the joint capsule. Here's part of the joint capsule. We'll see more of it later. The lateral meniscus is much more mobile than the medial one, partly because its two ends are attached close together, partly because of a big difference in the mobility of the joint capsule around the edge. By filling in the spaces between the femoral and tibial condyles, the menisci produce an even distribution of synovial fluid to nourish and lubricate the articular cartilage of the femur and tibia. Now let's look at the two pairs of ligaments which hold the bones together at the knee joint. The two cruciate ligaments on the inside and the two collateral ligaments on the outside. We'll look at the cruciate ligaments first. They're the important structures which prevent forward and backward movement of the femur on the tibia. Their name comes from the fact that they form a cross, like this. Here's the anterior cruciate ligament, seen from in front. Here's the posterior cruciate ligament, seen from behind. To get a better look at them, we'll remove the lateral condyle of the femur. Now we can see the whole of the anterior cruciate ligament. The anterior cruciate ligament goes from here on the tibia to here on the femur, on the inner aspect of the lateral condyle. The anterior cruciate ligament prevents the femur from moving backward in relation to the tibia. Now we'll look at the posterior cruciate ligament. We'll remove the anterior cruciate ligament to see it better. The posterior cruciate ligament goes from here on the femur to here on the back of the tibia. The posterior cruciate ligament stops the femur from moving forward on the tibia. By preventing backward and forward movement, the cruciate ligaments ensure that the condyles of the femur stay in one place as they roll on the condyles of the tibia. Without them, the femur would roll off the back of the tibia in flexion and would roll off the front of it in extension. Now let's look at the two collateral ligaments, the fibular collateral ligament on the lateral side and the tibial collateral ligament on the medial side. The tibial collateral ligament goes from the medial epicondyle of the femur to the anteromedial aspect of the proximal tibia. The tibial collateral ligament blends with the capsule of the knee joint behind and also in front. On its inner aspect, it's firmly attached to the edge of the medial meniscus, which is here. Now let's look at the rather different fibular collateral ligament. It goes from the lateral epicondyle of the tibia to the head of the fibula. The fibular collateral ligament stands out from the side of the knee joint. Unlike its tibial counterpart, it doesn't blend with the joint capsule. It's not attached to the meniscus. When the knee joint is extended, both the collateral ligaments are tight. When it's flexed, they become less tight. The function of the collateral ligaments is to keep the femoral and tibial condyles together, and thus to prevent the knee joint from bending from side to side, like this or like this. In addition to the obvious knee movements, flexion and extension, it's also possible for the tibia to rotate a little on the femur, like this. This rotation can happen only when the knee is flexed. When it's extended, the tightness of the collateral ligaments makes rotation impossible. The next structure we need to add in building up our picture of the knee joint is the quadriceps tendon, and along with it, the patella. Here's the distal end of the quadriceps muscle, which we'll see in more detail later in this section. Here's the quadriceps tendon. The patella, which is here, is enfolded within the tendon. The part of the tendon below the patella is known as the patellar ligament. On the medial side and on the lateral side, the tendon is continuous with the capsule of the knee joint. Between the quadriceps tendon and the femur is an extension of the knee joint cavity, the quadriceps bursa. It's lined with synovial membrane. This lubricated pocket enables the quadriceps tendon to slide easily on the femur. Now we'll complete our picture of the knee joint by adding the fibrous capsule which encloses it. Here's the knee joint with the joint capsule intact. On the medial side, the thin capsule is continuous with the tibial collateral ligament. But on the lateral side, the capsule is separated from the fibular collateral ligament. On the back of the joint, the capsule is thick and strong. The thickened posterior capsule prevents hyperextension of the knee joint. Here, we've divided the fibrous capsule to see its inner surface. It's lined on the inside with synovial membrane all the way around the joint, except at the back. At the back, as we'll see if we remove the capsule, the thin synovial membrane, here it is, passes forward around the cruciate ligaments, covering them on the front. Besides being the largest joint in the body, the knee joint is also much the most complicated. Before we move on to look at the muscles which produce knee movement, let's review what we've seen of the bone.
Muy bien. ¿Cómo estamos hasta ahí? ¿Alguna pregunta? ¿Aló, aló? ¿Aló, aló?
No, ninguna pregunta, doctor.
Ok. ¿Se escuchó bien el sonido?
Sí, sí.
Muy bien. Entonces creo que ese video nos ilustra mucho más todo lo que habíamos conversado ya sobre la disposición, la forma, la estructura de los meniscos, ¿no es cierto? Aquí podemos comprender ahora mejor. En el video nos estaba enseñando, por ejemplo, lo que corresponde a este dibujo de la membrana sinovial que les había indicado, que al meterse en la parte posterior, en el espacio intercondilio, se va entre los ligamentos cruzados y los envuelve alrededor de cada uno, dejándoles sin el aporte circulatorio a los ligamentos cruzados. Por eso les decía al inicio que los ligamentos cruzados, a más de estar o a pesar de estar dentro de la articulación y dentro de toda la cápsula articular, están fuera del aporte circulatorio de la sinovial. Por eso es que decimos los ligamentos cruzados son intracapsulares, intraarticulares, pero extrasinoviales, porque no reciben aporte circulatorio de la membrana sinovial. Y eso debe quedar claro, significa que cómo se nutren estos dos ligamentos, lo hacen a través de las inserciones óseas que están en la tibia y en el fémur. Son tan pequeños como los pudimos ver estos ligamentos que cuando se rompen realmente no hay forma de que se puedan volver a unir y de que se puedan recuperar anatómica y biológicamente. Se rompe un ligamento de estos y se quedó roto para toda la vida. Por eso es que las técnicas operatorias que tenemos ahora y que se hacen todos los días alguna persona tiene una lesión de ligamento cruzado y está operándose. Y lo que hacemos es sustituir o reemplazar el ligamento que se rompió porque no hay forma de que vuelva a tener su fortaleza, su consistencia, su capacidad de sostener la articulación, entonces tiene que ser reemplazado. Porque el aparato circulatorio que nutre a los ligamentos cruzados no es suficientemente bueno y no tiene posibilidad de recuperarse espontáneamente. Entonces, un ligamento cruzado roto necesariamente tiene que ser reemplazado. Ahora usamos injertos incluso cadavéricos de otras partes como para poder reemplazar un ligamento cruzado. De los dos ligamentos cruzados, el que más acción tiene, como ustedes vieron, es el ligamento cruzado anterior. Y es el que por su posición o su disposición anatómica está sujeto a mayor número de traumatismos y a mayor fuerza de traumatismos. Por lo tanto, la relación de las personas que tienen lesiones ligamentarias de rodilla, en las que incluye el ligamento cruzado